anyways. Interesting. Oops. Cool. So let's start making I guess player. Let's start doing that since we left off here. So we have our width and height, and now we need our X and Y where it's going to start off, and I'll explain these. So, I mean, this default constructor player isn't actually going to be used, but it will be used if something just completely goes awry. So these aren't actually really even that relevant, but it's really just gonna because X and Y is where it's going to be rendered at, and it's going to render at level.groundx, which is going to be the bottom of the ground, and then plus width divided by 2 of our screen, so it's going to be in the center of our screen at the bottom on the ground, and you just subtract the width of the player so that it's completely dead center. Same goes for the Y, but this is just for bugs, honestly. And we're just going to set the colors, so equals 255. Doesn't matter. And velocity. I guess 3. Actually, I don't even know if we're going to use velocity, to be honest. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to. And score is going to be 0. So, now, let's do our overloaded constructor. Sorry if my terminology isn't always the best, by the way. I'm still, obviously, learning C++. So, if it's player 1, then we're going to give these attributes to him. So we're going to make him the colored red, or I'm going to. You don't have to. Doesn't matter. Width is going to be equal to 10, height 80 pixels. Hopefully that all makes sense. You know, he's 10 by 80. That's how long and skinny he is. X is going to be equal to 0 because the left player is going to be on the left side of the screen, so that's pretty obvious. And but Y is going to be equal to height divided by 2 minus the height of himself, which will put it dead center once again. Hopefully that makes sense to you, but maybe I'll explain it once we get it up and rendering. And I think is that oh no, we need I guess velocity is equal to 5, and score is equal to 0. Did we get anything? I don't think so. Okay. And else if player is equal to 2. Just gonna copy this. Basically the same stuff, but different colors. So we're gonna make him green. Dun, dun, dun. I think, oh sorry, obviously X and Y are different too. X is going to be equal to width minus the width of his body. It's going to go all the way over to the other side of the screen. And Y is equal to height divided by 2 minus height. Cool. Okay, so let's start making these other functions. Cool. So, there, render. No, actually, we don't really need update. I think I might change the way we're going to do this. So let's just get rid of update, because there's not really anything for us to update. I don't think. I think really all we need to update is the ball. So, let's see. Now, we are going to draw a filled rectangle. That's all it really is in Pong. At location X and Y. Whoa. X and Y. And now the next two are the like one's the top left pin of the rectangle, and the other one's the bottom right pin. So these are another set of x and y coordinates. But for this, we're just gonna x plus the width and y plus the height. So that's that. Hopefully that makes sense. Sorry, I screwed that up. This should be height, not width. Cool. And now it's just taken a color, so Allegro map, red, green, blue, and we're just gonna assign it red, green, blue, and that's it for drawing. Pretty simple. And now collisions. Really, we're just gonna check if the players outside of any of the four sides of your screen. Well, actually, not the screen. Sorry, because we have a ground, a ceiling, and then two sides. If that makes sense. So, for example, if I run whoops. Oh no. So I don't know why it does it when I run it like that, but if I run it like this, okay. Like, see how there's two white lines here where it says Pong and such? I don't know if this video captures picking up my mouse or not, so I'm sorry. I apologize if it's not, but the white spaces, the top's the ceiling and the bottom's the floor. So that line where it intersects the black and white is going to be the boundary lines, just how the ball's bouncing off the two. And let's see, the paddles won't go any past the white, the ceiling and floor, so that's that. Cool. So, for collision, we need to test this. So, if the y is less than height, so if y, which is, up and down, is greater than the height of the entire screen, the height minus level.ground, so that's essentially just saying if y is greater than, if it's greater than the ground, then we're going to set it equal to that. So that way it doesn't go past it. And, like, a lot of times this won't make sense. I know it didn't until I actually had to make my own collision detection. And sometimes it just takes that, so I don't know, that's that. It's the same thing for here, but we're just testing if it's lesser than this time, but the ceiling instead of the floor, so. Y. Now, we're not going to do an if-else, because it could be touching both at the same time, and if it was, it's going to go through one of them, because it's going to skip over the next if. So, that took me a while, because at first I had that when I first wrote Pong, and I couldn't figure out what the bug was, so. Now we're just testing for left and right. I mean, you can't even move left and right, but if just some crazy glitch happened where it could, we're not going to allow it to pass out the screen, because who knows what kind of fancy stuff could go wrong then, so just being safe. Now let's make our reset score. Skip score. And that's that. I don't think there's much to explain there. I guess that's all of the player, honestly. Let's make level. It's level is not much at all, so sorry, I should probably zoom in for you guys. My apologies. Once again, I'm just gonna copy. I should just add them into level, but whatever. Good typing practice. Okay, let's do our default constructor. And so we have our ground x, set it to 0, which is the left side. So that should make sense, hopefully. And ground. y should be equal to, I'm setting it to 40 just because, once again, it's just preference. And what 40 is, it's going to be 40 pixels from the bottom of your screen upward. And I'll show you how that works in a second. Ceiling. Oh, well. This is going to be equal to 0, and it's essentially the same exact thing. Just 40 again, so it's even. Did I make an update level for this? I don't need an update level for a level. Silly. Oh, whoops, what am I doing? Sorry. We do need a render one. And like, this is just literally rendering 2 squares that are white. That's all it's doing. So, we're going to draw 2 filled rectangles. Sorry, we need to include our primitives. If I could spell at all. Or that would. Oh my golly. Cool. Rectangle. And it's going to be at ground X, ground Y. Sorry, no. Height minus ground Y. So it's going to be, the starting left upper corner is going to be at ground X, which is 0. It's going to be on the left side. And Y is going to be height minus 40, because if it was just 40, it would be way at the top of our screen, but we want the entire height and then minus that. So it's kind of hard to wrap around, but you'll figure it out. Then we have width and height for our bottom corner, because that's obviously going to put it in the bottom right corner. And then once again, we're going to map some colors. Now, I am just going to make it pure white. And we're going to copy this. And instead of ground X, we're going to put ceiling X. And for this, we're actually just going to put 0. Because it's at the top of our screen this time instead of the bottom. This is just going to be width, and instead of height, we're going to put ceiling Y, and it's going to be white again. So yeah, and I guess we could start our ball. Do I have time? Ooh. I should probably end it. Yeah, I'll end it. Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying the tutorials and they're not too terrible. Hopefully my explaining is okay. So that's that. Thank you very much. See you later.